Beyond stardom this time, we peer behind the public facades of 5 of the world's most successful celebrities. At the age of 14, this multi-billionaire-to-be made $20,000 in his first computer-based enterprise with future Microsoft partner Paul Allen. As a teenager, Bill Gates was also very active in the Boy Scouts, reaching the organization's second highest rank of Life Scout. And the Scouts' motto, "Be prepared," certainly stood the whiz kid from Seattle in good stead as he set about cornering the global PC operating systems market. However, his commitment to doing a good turn daily seemed to fall by the wayside as he developed a reputation as a ruthless and sometimes hostile businessman who would stop at nothing to beat the competition. In fact, in 1998, the US Justice Department, along with the attorneys general of 20 states, sued his company Microsoft for illegally blocking competition to protect its software monopoly by bundling its Internet Explorer web browser together with its Microsoft Windows operating system. Bill was called to make a deposition to the court and was widely criticized for being evasive and unresponsive. In the end, Microsoft got little more than a slap on the wrist, and Bill's empire continued to expand at such a rate of knots that by 1995, at the age of 40, he'd become the world's richest man. Over the next 4 years, his fortune shot up to more than $100 billion, earning him the media tag of centibillionaire. Since the dot-com bubble of 2000, his personal wealth has been hanging around a much more modest $60 billion. And having already saturated markets for traditional software, he and Microsoft are turning more towards the marketing of online services, like Live Anywhere, which allows users to engage in cross-platform online video game battles. But these days, it's not all about Microsoft. In fact, Bill's big announcement of June 2006 revealed that he would be handing over the day-to-day operations management of the company so that he could begin a full-time career in philanthropy. Quite a turnaround for the all-conquering corporate king of the 1990s. Bill credited fellow bigwig Warren Buffett with starting the ball rolling on his big life change. And just days after Bill's big announcement, Warren declared he would be donating $1.5 million a year in stock to charity. But those close to Bill have attributed his about-face and priorities to the influence of his wife Melinda, the co-founder of their charitable foundation, which has given away more than $14 billion since 2000. In 2005, Melinda and Bill, along with U2 frontman Bono, were named Time magazine's Persons of the Year for their charitable work through the Gates Foundation, which focuses its efforts on causes ignored by other organizations.
What these people are about is how can they use their money and leverage it to save as many people as possible. How can they find people who, can be saved with a $2 pill, but who couldn't afford that because they live on $1 a day? And they just bring a kind of businessman's efficiency to saving people.
One of the Foundation's pet projects has been to provide vaccines and mosquito nets to prevent the spread of malaria.
Millions of children die in Africa who shouldn't die, it would be very easy to save. And particularly in this era where we have these great advances in science, the fact that we don't apply the resources to the known cures or to coming up with even better cures is really, I think, the most scandalous issue of our time.
Another major mission is to help find viable alternatives to condoms as a way of preventing the transmission of the HIV virus.
And we want to call on everyone here and around the world to help speed up what we hope will be the next big breakthrough in the fight against AIDS. The discovery of a microbicide, or an oral prevention drug that can block the transmission of HIV.
As well as funding research into oral prevention of the disease, the Foundation is plowing money into other forms of prevention like creams and gels that women can administer without needing the cooperation of a male partner.
This could mark a turning point in the epidemic, and we have to make it an urgent priority. If we can discover these new preventative tools and deliver them quickly to the highest risk populations, we could revolutionize the fight against AIDS.
Bill also devotes his time and efforts to giving economic advice. At a recent think tank to debate global expansion, skills shortages, and new technologies, he advised that companies in the future would rely more and more on their research and development departments to maintain a lead in their markets. This fashion icon allegedly mistook the leader of Britain's opposition, David Cameron, for a plumber at a 2007 charity dinner. If supermodel Kate Moss doesn't keep up with politics, it could be because she's just too busy. Ranked as the 99th richest woman in England, she squeezed in enough assignments between July 2006 and July 2007 to pull in more than £9 million, putting her earning power just below that of top-grossing model Giselle Bundchen. Not bad going for a catwalk veteran of 34, whose career was all but over in 2005 after snaps of her apparently doing cocaine made it onto the front page of a British tabloid. With police on her tail, Kate fled to France, and the modelling contracts with the likes of H&M, Chanel and Burberry dropped like flies. Having pulled through years of speculation about her alleged drug and alcohol abuse, it seems she was finally done for. Until a swag of influential friends and colleagues whipped up a groundswell of support. Designers Stella McCartney and Alexander McQueen, along with French actress Catherine Deneuve and ex-boyfriend Johnny Depp, all spoke out in her defence. And by the middle of 2006, she was back in everyone's good books and starring in an internet ad for lingerie firm Argent Provocateur that proved so popular it crashed the site.
Kate Moss has got something that no one else has got, and no one else can find it, and so that's why they use Kate, because she's the best at what she does.
The ad's director, Mike Figgis, was equally gushing.
Without a doubt, she's the best model I've ever worked with, you know. I mean, all you really have to do is get the light right, and then she hears the shutter, and every time the shutter goes, she gives you another look. You don't have to ask for it, and then if you ask for something, she'll give you that too. So I'd say she is called a supermodel because actually she is the best supermodel around. She's the best at her job. She is the Schumacher of modeling, you know.
That autumn, she made a staggering comeback that netted her 18 top modeling campaigns, including Dior, Bulgari, Roberto Cavalli, and Louis Vuitton. And she ended up winning the Model of the Year prize at the British Fashion Awards. Even her on and off again relationship with heroin-addicted singer Pete Doherty couldn't take the shine off comeback Kate. By February 2007, she'd been immortalised in wax at London's Madame Tussauds Museum.
We don't make a judgment call on the celebrities that we make in the attraction, and I can only say just in terms of her fashion work, we have so many guests. We have a poll every month of guests here, and she always comes up at the top or near the top, and yeah, just so many people aspire to have her beauty and her style that it made great sense to have her in the attraction.
It also made great sense to start converting her popularity into other entrepreneurial opportunities. First cab off the rank was high street fashion chain Topshop, with whom Kate collaborated to produce the Kate Moss collection, which promised to give every girl about town a glimpse into the wardrobe of the world's most elusive and admired supermodel. At the May 2007 London launch of the collection, Kate proved just how elusive and admired she was, appearing in the shop window for a fleeting few seconds to appease the crowd of thousands that had gathered to catch a glimpse. The entire collection was sold out in 2 hours, and the Topshop brass were delighted.
Very excited. You know, until you get all these things, that's why she wanted to walk upstairs. She would let me have a look. And she's quite sort of, you know, when you, I suppose, see yourself on the wall, right, it's probably quite different, and it's your own merchandise. It's probably so her was a little bit of a quite daunting. But I'm pretty confident we've got it, you know, pretty right.
A month later, it was off to Morocco's Marrakesh to launch her own perfume, Kate by Kate Moss, in collaboration with cosmetics house Coty. Stunning members of the gathered press, the famously silent supermodel actually stepped up to the microphone.
I try to encompass everything that I feel about being a feminine and a bit rock and roll and a bit edgy and a bit light and a bit dark.
While John Matheson, who directed the perfume's TV advertisement, attempted to sum up her appeal.
She is very versatile. She's a real muse. She's a real icon. But she has a lot of mood. She has a lot of looks. She has a lot of talent, and she can sort of almost disappear and then become very strong again, all at the same time.
Dancer with Wolves decided to pursue a career in acting after a chance meeting with Richard Burton, who advised him to go for it. The son of a welfare worker and an electrician, Kevin Costner was born in Linwood, California in 1955. In one of his first big screen appearances in 1983, all that could be seen of Kevin was his slashed wrists as a corpse in the big-ticket black comedy The Big Chill. 4 years later, audiences were seeing a lot more of him in films like Bull Durham and The Untouchables. But the film that proved he was much more than a pretty face was the 1990 epic Dances with Wolves, which he not only starred in but also directed and produced. The film won 7 Academy Awards, of which he walked away with 2 for Best Picture and Best Director. He followed up with starring turns in 4 more major successes, consolidating his status as one of Hollywood's hottest properties. Whether or not his soaring popularity had begun to convince him that he was invincible, he then seemed to take his eye off the ball, signing up to produce and star in Lawrence Kasdan's Wyatt Earp biopic that bombed at the box office in 1994. The same year, he divorced his wife of 16 years, Cindy Silver, the mother of his 3 children. Next, he produced and starred in the science fiction extravaganza Waterworld, with budget blowouts taking the film's total cost to $167 million. He then gave up the chance to star in the successful thriller Air Force One to make The Postman, which earned scathing reviews for its bogus sentimentality and mawkish jingoism. And by 1998, he'd become the butt of every second industry joke. Despite the battering he received, Kevin proved as tough as his heroic alter egos, taking a philosophical approach to the unpredictability of filmmaking.
I don't think any difference, really. I think that, even a bad film is hard work. Good film, it's hard work. Big money, the days are long. Little money, the days are just as long. I think, what's hard to spend time on a movie that doesn't come out the way you want it. That's what's hard.
Instead of the blockbusters he was used to making in the 80s and 90s, he suddenly found himself producing and starring in smaller independent movies, like 2003's Open Range.
As a storyteller, I kind of have those feelings. I get really excited when I'm going to show something that I've made for the people.
And in 2005, he was just as passionate about opening the upside of anger at the independent film festival Sundance.
Well, it's good, people here play really hard, and they take their movies really seriously, and the filmmakers that have come and you guys have come to cover it, you're here in earnest, you're making a big deal about it, and it's good for us. It's good for a little movie. It doesn't have a lot of mojo.
His graciousness and patience were rewarded the following year with another shot at the big time as the star of the action-adventure flick The Guardian, which teamed him up with Punk'd star Ashton Kutcher. His return to the spotlight was honoured in front of Grumman's Chinese Theatre in Hollywood, where he cast his feet and hands in cement and waxed long and lyrical about his career.
Someone told me that I was looking for a hobby with a paycheck, that maybe I should quit dreaming and get a real job. Thank you for that advice.
Swift to capitalize on his revived profile, he wasted no time in getting his next project into production and enlisting the help of new pal Ashton to sign a co-star for the thriller Mr. Brooks.
Well, I wanted Ashton to read it, and I thought he would sense some possibilities in it to me, and he did, and gave it to her, and they came to the conclusion it was a good movie.
In the film, Kevin plays a loving family man and local business icon who battles against his pathological urge to kill. Demi Moore plays the detective determined to catch him out. As well as some ghoulish moments, the drama also offers up a few laughs.
I just think of Mr. Brooks as a really unique American piece of cinema. It takes a subject that's not, that's horrific, and somehow puts a human face on it, and even manages a sense of humor and a certain sense of empathy. And you're shocked that all those things could actually be rolled into this terrible subject.
This actor-producer was snapped having her feet sucked by her rock star husband aboard a yacht in Sydney Harbour in December 2007. But then Trudie Styler and Sting have never been shy about sharing their intimacy. For years, stories have been making it to the British tabloids and magazines about their extended lovemaking sessions and their penchant for tantric sex. Just to ram the point home, the couple recently opened the doors of their Manhattan apartment to the media, revealing a red and gold master bedroom adorned with 2 oversized Helmut Newton prints of scantily clad women in provocative poses. But when she's not thinking up new ways of amusing Sting in the bedroom, Trudie is out and about getting style tips from the top at invitation-only haute couture events.
And what is it that you like about Christian Dior and John Galliano's design?
I love John's sort of flamboyance and theatricality and making women really feel at the best they can possibly feel. And he's ours. He's a Brit export.
Which is perfect. Are you wearing Dior today?
Yes.
Can we take a pan?
A top with this little dress.
At John Galliano's spring-summer show, the Dior models stepped out in tailored suits to the strains of Sting's song Englishman in New York. Trudie was a sucker for the androgynous daywear and wispy silk negligees.
I love the daytime stuff, the pants and the hats and the waistcoats.
Marlene Dietrich.
Gorgeous, and then with the beautiful lingerie underneath, very, very sexy.
Over at Chanel, she was equally enthralled with Karl Lagerfeld's autumn-winter efforts.
All of that, sensational.
She wants to buy it now.
Sexy, all wearable, it's beautiful, absolutely exquisite.
No doubt she needs to keep the world's top designers sweet to ensure they'll always be on hand to kit her out for the endless rounds of concerts, premieres, benefits and parties she gets to attend in her capacity as Mrs. Sting. She's also known for throwing more than her own share of elaborate bashes, although her enthusiasm for entertaining may have been dampened a little by a recent court case in which her former cook claimed she had been unlawfully dismissed after falling pregnant. Still, her reputation as a socialite and matchmaker remains intact, thanks to the well-publicized fact that it was Trudie who introduced Madonna to Guy Ritchie. But it's not all about parties and fashion shows. As well as squeezing in the odd acting job, she works closely with her husband on the Rainforest Foundation they formed together in 1989 to help save the world's rainforests. The pair were honoured for their conservation efforts at Bette Midler's Halloween Gala to celebrate her 60th birthday.
On behalf of New York Restoration Project and everyone who loves our planet, fabulous wardrobes, and everyone who respects their fellow man and their wardrobe, I am proud to present them with the Wind Beneath My Wings Leadership Award for 2005. Sting and Trudie Styler.
It's long been an ambition of Trudie's
And Sting's.
to be the wind beneath Bette's wings.
So bring on the fanfare.
Bring on the fiddlers. Let's raise our glasses to the divine Bette Midler!
Over the years, they've proved themselves to be a bona fide double act. After living together for 10 years, they married in 1992 and have 4 children. The birth of their first was included in Sting's film Bring on the Night. A producer in her own right for many years, Their recent collaboration on the Robert Downey Jr. film, A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints, was a first for Sting.
We've really worked together on many things, you know, outside of acting. It's the Rainforest Foundation. We also work together on raising quite a large family, so we work together. Didn't seem different in any way, really.
Although they are rarely seen apart, Trudie was recently singled out at the Environmental Media Awards for a Lifetime Achievement honour. This Emmy Award-winning Canadian actor began his performing career at the age of 8, appearing in television commercials. As a child, his actress mother would read him fairy tales and Enid Blyton books, finding different voices for each of the characters. Mike Myers inherited her characterization skills, and during his 6-year tenure on NBC's Saturday Night Live program, he breathed life into a host of legendary crack-ups, such as Dieter, Linda Richman, and Wayne Campbell, who went on to become the star of his 1992 film Wayne's World, which spawned the catchwords "not" and "schwing." 5 years later, he was coining more annoying catchphrases with his James Bond spoof Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery. "Yeah, baby," "Zip it," and "Oh, behave" were just 3 of the film's lines that were destined to live on in chats down the pub, office Christmas parties, and mobile ringtones. The film, which he wrote, directed, starred in, and produced along with Demi Moore, only made a modest impact at the box office, but by the time it was released on DVD in 1998, it had become a cult hit, paving the way for the sequels The Spy Who Shagged Me in 1999 and Goldmember in 2002, which raked in nearly $300 million worldwide. Adding the foul-mouthed fat bastard to his repertoire of characters in the sequels, Mike proved he certainly wasn't above toilet humor. And at the Kids' Choice Awards in LA, he was only too happy to get slimed and eat camel bogies.
In order to fart, you have to eat. So who's up for some camel boogers? Huh? I got them backstage from Fatima. Yeah, okay, let's go. Tastes just like chicken.
But for all the larking about on screen and stage, the real Mike Myers is very serious about his art. In 2000, he fell foul of Universal Studios after pulling out of a $20 million contract to play his character Dieter in a feature film. He refused to go through with the deal due to his dissatisfaction with his own script. In his introduction at the unveiling of Steven Spielberg's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, he was full of reverence and respect.
When any of us look back at the people who have influenced our lives, we of course think of our families, our friends, our teachers, but somewhere near the top of this list is this man, Steven Spielberg. I truly can't think of another human being who has influenced the modern world more than he has as a filmmaker and a great humanitarian. The name Spielberg is to entertainment what Einstein is to physics.
Soccer is another thing he takes very seriously, and when it comes to supporting a team at the World Cup,
it's England. It has to be. My dad would come from the grave and get me. So it's a
World Cup fan?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I'm going to be watching.
He's even pretty serious about his motivation as the big green ogre in the animated feature series Shrek. At the premiere of the 3rd installment of the blockbuster franchise, he spoke about his character's dilemma.
He doesn't believe that ogres are good enough to be king. He doesn't believe that ogres are good enough to be a father. He is believing what people have said about him who have prejudged that he's an ogre. And this is his journey.
Mike, whose mother came from Liverpool, decided to give the unlikely romantic hero a Scottish accent to draw on his British heritage. Having already stepped up to the microphone for 3 features and a television special, he is happy to keep providing the voice of the gentle giant for as long as DreamWorks will have him. And with a supporting cast that includes the likes of Antonio Banderas, Julie Andrews and John Cleese, it must be hard to choose his favourite castmate.
I think for me personally, John Cleese, because he's such a hero. You know, I grew up in a house with Python and Peter Sellers and Julie Andrews, of course, and so it's an embarrassment of riches. I think this is the best.